Hey everyone, welcome. Get comfortable, and let's get into tonight's Reddit stories. Imagine planning your whole family's future around your husband's bathroom schedule. Not because of some big medical emergency, but because he disappears for an hour at a time during the hardest parts of the day. Is this a health issue, an avoidance tactic, or a sign of something much bigger going on in the relationship? My husband poops too much for me to feel comfortable having another baby with him. My husband and I have been married for 7 years and together for 11. We have a 3.5-year-old. We're having marriage issues for more reasons than I have character limit or time to write out. In short, I feel like he lacks a sense of responsibility and initiative in our relationship. I've been holding on to a lot of resentment, especially after our first baby. I'm in therapy trying to work through it on my own. He has this bathroom habit where he poops every morning during our toddler's wake-up, breakfast, and drop-off time. Then again every afternoon after lunch. And then every evening during bath and bedtime. So he's basically unavailable during the hardest, most demanding parts of every day. Each bathroom session is about an hour long. Edit, maybe half of that is actually pooping, and the other half is shower time. I also know he can apparently change his timing on command, because when we need to be out and about, he somehow manages to go earlier or later or not go at all. Though I don't know how much that affects him. We both work full-time. I am the one who wakes up with the baby and gets him ready for preschool like 99% of the time. My husband might drive our kid to school after I've already gotten him ready. And I'm usually the one who gets the baby bathed and ready for bed, unless I wait for my husband. Then the baby usually ends up going to sleep later than I'd like. He knows I've been delaying family planning because of his uncertainty around work. He's been trying to change jobs for the last 2 years. Now that he's finally settled into his new role, when I bring up having another baby, he always says it's up to me. My son asks for a baby sister because all his friends have baby sisters. My husband's response is, it depends on mommy. But it doesn't. The issues I have with him from our first baby, his lack of awareness and initiative, and how he needs me to tell him to do everything or he just doesn't feel like he needs to be involved or present, are still not resolved. And I don't see how I can manage 2 kids while he's gone during the busiest times of each day. Yes, I also question whether I should even be thinking about having another baby with him. I want 2 kids because we have limited family in the US, and I want my son to have someone in the family when he's older. Let's just assume I want to stay in this relationship. I asked him to go to the doctor and talk about his frequent bowel movements, and he said he already did, and it's normal. I feel like he prioritizes himself and his needs over our families, because he seems able to adjust when he goes, but by default he chooses the busiest times of the day. When I ask him directly how we're supposed to have a newborn when he's gone for 3 hours every day during the most critical times, he says his parents can take care of the baby. His parents live a 2-hour drive away. This is not a come over and help once in a while situation. This is a multi-year, if not lifelong, daily need I have from him. And his first response is that someone else can do it. It makes me so sad and disappointed that this is his first and only solution. I honestly don't know what he could propose. But I wanted him to understand that his unavailability is a real concern for me and actually think about it. I can't stop him from pooping. It's not like we have the space, or I have the will, to house his mom for 3 years to make up for my husband needing to poop. It's not like she wants to live with us for 3 years either. And this is just one specific concern. There are plenty of others. I don't know how to talk about this without feeling dismissed, but also without making him feel like I'm trying to stop him from pooping. Additional info. He has hemorrhoids, so bowel movements aren't simple. He refuses to talk more about it. He does have really bad hemorrhoids, and I know he's in pain. And I know he's definitely having a bowel movement. But maybe it doesn't have to be at those exact times or for that long. The phone is definitely not helping. Edit. His 1-hour sessions also include a thorough shower after each time. He says he feels icky, so maybe it's more like 30 minutes each or 40 minutes in the bathroom and 20 in the shower. Edit again. I appreciate all the advice about reevaluating why I want a second baby. I'm going to pause that thought for now. It's just that I've been waiting 2 years to have this conversation for real. I waited so long for the right time. And his response was just so hurtful and disappointing. It's not even about his bowel movements anymore, like some of you have said. I'm realizing now there is no right time. There's always going to be something else, more excuses. Edit again. Yeah, we have a bidet, but he hasn't installed it in 2 years. I'm too resentful to install it for him too. Plus, he says it's not enough because he wants to shower to feel cleaner, and he thinks his fungal rash is caused by possible poop splash. I tell him all that showering is stripping his natural skin barrier and making it worse, but he doesn't listen. If I leave the house for a work trip 4 times a year, 3 or 4 days at a time, he just calls his parents over. When I mention that he doesn't step up, he says I'm the one who leaves all the time for work travel. His parents make excuses for him. Talking to them hasn't helped. I've tried many times. I should be patient and teach him. I should give him the benefit of the doubt and remember he's not intentional, he's just kinda dumb. That's his mom's wording. His dad is actually pretty proactive and handy at home. His mom says kids want their moms more anyway. It's natural, etc., etc. My mom says men are all like this. My dad is like this too, she says. But my dad cleans and manages everything for the house and cars, inside and out, super handy, fixes everything. My mom took care of us. He has poor emotional intelligence, but he's not useless. My husband is none of that and also has low emotional intelligence. He has unlimited data, so turning off the Wi-Fi doesn't do anything. He streams YouTube while driving. He says he's just listening. He's definitely not doing drugs, that I know 100%. If I tried to take his phone away, it would lead to anger and yelling. I'm not his mom. I don't want to deal with that. I don't have time to monitor him and grab his phone every time. I have better things to do. The top comment summed up a lot of people's reactions with a kind of dark humor. They called this weaponized shitting, basically using bathroom time as a way to duck out of responsibility right when he's needed the most. Another highly upvoted comment said this really isn't about bodily functions at all. In their view, he's not spending 3 hours a day in the bathroom because he has to. He's doing it because it conveniently takes him out of parenting and household work. They pointed out that he clearly can adjust his timing when he wants to, that he doesn't seem interested in changing, and that he seems to see the kids as her job, not something they share. A third popular comment focused on the phone. They suggested he's not in there suffering on the toilet the whole time. He's on his phone, watching videos and scrolling. Their theory was that if the internet or his data somehow stopped working during his bathroom breaks, those marathon sessions would probably shrink a lot. What do you think is really going on here? An actual medical and comfort issue, or a pattern of avoiding responsibility that just happens to show up in the most convenient way possible? And based on everything you've heard, would you go ahead and have another baby in this situation? Let me know your thoughts in the comments. And if you like these deep dives into relationship stories, don't forget to like and subscribe for more. Imagine dating someone for 4 years, and then, in just 6 months, Their body changes so much that your whole sense of physical attraction shifts. You still love them. They're still the same sweet person. But now, every cuddle, every makeout session just feels off. What are you even supposed to say to them without breaking their heart? My boyfriend got really jacked, and now I'm no longer attracted to him. We've been together for almost 4 years. Recently, he's gotten really into fitness and weightlifting. Our cupboard is full of protein powders now, and he's put on a ton of muscle and is way more cut than he used to be. This isn't me saying he was out of shape before. We've both always been healthy. But this intense focus on weightlifting and muscle growth is new. It's really only been the last 6 months. I should clarify. When I say he's gotten into fitness, I don't mean he's fallen into the toxic side of it. He's not look-maxing. He hasn't gone down any red pill rabbit holes or anything like that. He's still the same extremely sweet, generous guy he's always been. The only real personality change is around our meals, where he insists on weighing out his portions and cooking for himself. I can kind of understand that level of intensity and dedication. I used to dance semi-professionally, but I quit halfway through college to focus on academics. All of this is to say, I still love him, but something about his new body turns me off. The best way I can describe it is with the Marvel movies. He used to be more like Loki, and now he's Thor. There's nothing wrong with Thor, but I feel like there are a lot of girls like me who'd agree that Loki is objectively hotter. Our sex life has taken a hit. I don't think his stamina is better in any noticeable way, and the way he looks and carries himself when he's shirtless gives me more of a vibe of stuffy Hollywood actors and fake online personalities than the sweet guy I know he is. General intimacy is also going down because things like cuddling or just making out just aren't as comfortable for me anymore. How do I even explain this to him? I'm sure he can feel me pulling away, and I really don't want to hurt him. I'm wondering what his reasoning is for all of this, other than just simple self-improvement. I promise I still give him compliments and boost his self-esteem just as much as I used to, so if this is coming from some insecurity, I'm hoping it's not because of me. Basically, I have no plans to break up, but I'd really like to be physically attracted to him again. Edit. I think people are misinterpreting what I'm saying. We're both already muscular. I'm talking about the new build on top of what was already there. I'm not going to comment on steroid use because if he is using, it's without my knowledge and I have no say in it. Someone in my DMs mentioned a Twitter post from a few months ago from the artist Ollie Murs, where he changed dramatically to be what a lot of men see as more conventionally attractive, and people were shocked by women's preferences in the comments. That is exactly what I'm talking about. I don't know if I can post links here, but he went from a bit skinnier in the before pic to maybe not as dramatic, but still very much aligned with the after pic. Someone also mentioned a meme that was going around a while back using the Loki and Thor analogy. I don't remember seeing it, but maybe I did and subconsciously saved it to use here. I don't see this new development as him improving himself or necessarily being healthier. I don't think having the lowest possible body fat percentage is healthy. I also worry about his cardiovascular health, since an increase in mass makes your heart work harder and doesn't automatically mean better health. Especially if you're skipping cardio because you're scared it'll hurt your gains. Maybe I've got some dance trauma to blame for this. Or maybe I'm getting the science wrong, but that's how I see it. I don't know if Reddit is just being Reddit here, but the general consensus in the last few hours is that I'm a bad person and I should dump him. That's not happening. I still love him deeply with all my heart. I'm just asking how to get over, or at least address, this new lack of physical and sexual attraction. And even then, it's not like it went from 100 to 0. My libido didn't fall off a cliff. It's a preference. and I can overlook it because there's so much else that's good about him. Forgive me for being defensive, but the amount of assumptions people have made about our relationship is wild. I'm not insecure, personally or in our relationship. He supported me when I was a stressed-out mess finishing my degrees, and I'm supporting him as he finishes his, both emotionally and partially financially. Lastly, I hadn't thought of this before, but I got tipped off about the possible intention to propose right after graduation. And now a new part of me thinks he might be doing this to look as good as possible for those upcoming milestones. I don't know. I guess we'll see. A lot of people in the comments tried to dig into what might really be bothering her underneath all of this. One really highly upvoted take said that when we suddenly dislike a partner's physical change, it's often less about their body itself and more about what we think that change represents. They pointed out that she used words like stuffy and fake to describe his new vibe, and suggested she might be associating bulky gym bro with disingenuous and self-absorbed. If that's true, the real work might be challenging that mental connection, not just the muscles. Another top comment was more blunt. You can't control what you're attracted to. This person said they also aren't into very muscular bodies, and they don't blame her for feeling turned off. But they emphasize that there's no way to bring this up without hurting his feelings, and that it's not fair to ask someone to change their body for you. In their view, all she can really do is be honest, and if the attraction doesn't come back, this might end up being a deal breaker whether she wants it to be or not. Someone else focused on something different that a lot of people overlooked: the loss of intimacy around food. They pointed out that cooking, eating, and sharing meals together is a huge part of emotional closeness for a lot of couples. Her boyfriend now weighs out his portions and cooks separately, and that change in routine might be a big part of why she feels more distant. His new body is also a symbol of his strict gym and eating habits. This commenter suggested exploring that angle, maybe doing meal prep together, or finding ways to rebuild emotional intimacy first, in the hope that the physical attraction might follow. And they told her to ignore the shallow pile-on comments, saying that a lot of single people were chiming in harshly. What do you think about this one? If your partner drastically changed their body in a way that didn't match your preferences, even if it was technically self-improvement, how would you handle it? Would you bring it up, try to adapt, or see it as a sign you're no longer compatible? Let me know your thoughts in the comments, and if you enjoy these stories, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell so you don't miss the next one. Imagine working yourself to the bone to support your partner's dream. And then you open their resume and realize it looks like they've barely tried at all. What do you even say in that moment? And how do you confront them without blowing everything up? I just saw my boyfriend's resume after 3 years together. How do I proceed? My boyfriend, he's 25, wanted to go back to school. I'm 24, I've got a decent paying job, and we've been living somewhere that's pretty low cost. So I agreed I'd support him financially while he left his old full-time job and looked for part-time work that would fit around his new school schedule. It's been about 6 months since he quit, and he still hasn't been able to find work, aside from picking up the occasional shift at Target. According to him, they only post about 1 shift a month that he can grab. I know the job market is rough right now, so I haven't been blaming him for not finding anything. But I have been very clear that supporting 2 people while also paying off my student loans and our car has been a lot on me. I've told him I really need him to focus on finding something so he can help out financially. Today, I had the idea to have him send me his resume so I could see if I could help him beef it up and support him more in the job search. He sent it to me. And now I'm honestly not surprised at all that he hasn't found anything. It is so obvious he's never even Googled how to format a resume properly. There are no bullet points under any of his jobs. Each job has like 1 sentence, and it doesn't even go across the page. For education, instead of listing his current school, he just wrote higher education. He used to be in a project manager role with a lot of accomplishments, and he hasn't listed any of them. I am so angry, because it's clear that while I have literally cried to him about how stressed I am supporting both of us, he hasn't even taken the time to Google how to write a resume. I'm sitting here thinking either he's an idiot or he's enjoying being taken care of and playing video games all day more than he likes the idea of actually helping out. I need to know if I'm being unfair. He has been applying and he has been going to interviews. So how do I bring this up to him without sounding judgmental? I feel like my judgment is totally clouded by anger right now, and I don't know how to move forward. He's at school right now, and I've got a few hours before he gets home. Too long didn't read. I've been running myself ragged financially supporting my boyfriend while he looks for a job, and his resume looks like it was written by someone who's never even Googled the word resume. How do I bring this up to him without being super judgy and confrontational? Top commenters are not buying his helpless act at all. One of the most upvoted responses points out that if he really worked in project management before, he absolutely knows what a functional resume looks like. To that commenter, the issue isn't ignorance, it's effort. They think he's perfectly aware of what he should be doing, and that your line about him enjoying being provided for and playing video games is probably the truth. In their view, he's shamelessly using you, and their advice is blunt. Kick him out. Another highly liked comment takes it a step further and suggests that if you broke up with him, he'd suddenly find a job within 2 weeks. The implication is that the lack of urgency comes from the safety net you're providing, not from the job market. Someone else focuses on the project manager claim specifically. They say there's no way a real project manager doesn't understand resumes. So they see 3 possibilities. Either he had someone else write his old resume, he wasn't actually a project manager in the first place, or he's deliberately sabotaging his own applications by keeping the resume bad so he doesn't get hired. Overall, the comment section leans heavily toward the idea that this isn't an innocent mistake, and that you're carrying the entire load while he coasts. What do you think is really going on here? Is this just someone who's clueless about resumes, or is he taking advantage of the situation and her support? If you were in her shoes, how would you bring this up? And would you stay, or would you walk away? Let me know your thoughts in the comments, and if you enjoy these stories, don't forget to like and subscribe for more. Imagine finally meeting your partner's family, and then realizing you had a fling with their sibling years ago, and you didn't recognize them until now. Do you come clean and risk blowing everything up, or keep quiet and hope the past stays buried? This guy decided to tell the truth and watched his girlfriend break down in front of him. Years ago, I had a 1-week fling with my girlfriend's sister, who's 35, and my girlfriend is 29. She doesn't know about it. Will everything blow up if I tell her? Update. So, picking up from my previous post, today I had lunch with my girlfriend and finally gathered the courage to tell her what happened between me and her sister back in the day. I'd been really scared that, like some people wisely pointed out, maybe her sister had already said something to her like, "Hey, I met that guy years ago and had something with him. He didn't tell you about it?" But it turns out her sister hadn't told her anything. I tried to explain what happened back in 2012 in the most factual, brief way I could. I told her that even though she has a couple of pictures with her sister on Instagram, I didn't recognize her before meeting her in person the other day. Thankfully, she believed me about that. But I could see, as we kept talking, how it was slowly hitting her harder and harder. She ended up crying over the fact that it had even happened at all, and it completely broke my heart and made me feel extremely guilty. I know I'm doing the right thing by not hiding stuff. Of course I get that, but I'm still devastated about how much I'm hurting her. She was embarrassed to be crying in public and wanted to leave, so I paid. We grabbed coffees to go and walked down to the harbor. We sat there so we could keep talking somewhere more private. That's when she started asking a lot of very specific questions, like how many times it happened, how it was, if I enjoyed it, if I felt anything for her after that week, how many times we messaged each other, if sex was better with her, and a bunch of other things that really took me by surprise, because I honestly thought she'd want to know as little as possible. And I know I did the wrong thing here, but I lied and told her I don't really remember that much about those days, and that a few days don't really mean anything in my life. I told her I don't feel and never felt anything for her sister. That part is the absolute truth. And that it was just a vacation thing that only lasted those days, and so on. She seemed really worried about emotional attachment, and I have none, and I'm sure her sister will tell her the same. I don't know, I just felt like an idiot and like I hurt her even though it was unintentional. It felt like anything I could say or do would be the wrong move. To make things worse, it turns out that for the last 2 years, they haven't had a great relationship anyway. Her sister divorced, moved back in with their parents, and my girlfriend feels like her sister is manipulating their father against her. So now this whole thing kind of landed like a terrible blow. She said her sister possibly expected me not to tell her, so she could keep that information and throw it at her at some point during a fight or something. I don't really know her sister, so I can't say for sure, but from what I'm hearing, she sounds like a very resentful and complicated person to deal with. At least right now. It just feels so unfair overall, and again, I don't want to make this about me, but I feel like a villain. She said she will eventually talk to her sister, but not today because she's too upset, and I think that's probably a good call. While I was typing this at the office, I talked to her again on the phone, and she told me she's going to stay at my apartment tonight. I'm really glad she agreed. I'm going to leave the office early, make some nice food for her, and try to talk a bit more. Any advice is absolutely welcome, and thank you sincerely to the people who guided me here. The top commenters had a lot to say about this situation. One of the main themes was, keep focusing on the relationship you have now. Several people told OP to lean into loving his girlfriend in the present. Cook for her, comfort her, reassure her, and make plans for the future. They pointed out that this was a short vacation fling over a decade ago, and the sister is not supposed to be part of their relationship going forward. From that perspective, they felt he did the right thing by being honest, and now his job is to show her, consistently, that she's the one who matters. But another highly upvoted comment raised a big red flag. OP admitted in this post that he lied about not remembering much, and that's exactly the kind of thing that could destroy trust if his girlfriend ever found this thread. That commenter basically told him, delete this post immediately. If she ever stumbles across it and sees that he minimized details and lied about his memory, she'll have every reason to question everything else he said. Others felt that, given the circumstances, the talk actually went as well as anyone could reasonably expect. They advised OP to keep reinforcing why he told her. Not because he wanted to hurt her, but because he believed it was important that she know. They suggested he emphasize that this was a one-week fling 12 years ago, nowhere near the level of honesty, intimacy, and commitment he shares with his girlfriend now. They also reminded him to give her time, no pressure, no deadline, for processing all of this. A big practical point that came up: boundaries with the sister. Multiple people said he needs very firm, clear boundaries going forward, and that he should ask his girlfriend what would make her feel safe, whether that's limiting contact, not being alone with the sister, or other rules. On his side, he should also set his own internal rules and stick to them. Finally, commenters warned him that intimacy may understandably be off the table for a while. They encouraged him to be patient, affectionate, and responsive to her cues, offering hugs, comfort, and closeness without pushing for sex. Some even suggested that once the dust settles, planning a trip together might help them create new memories and reclaim the idea of a vacation as something that belongs to the two of them, not to his past fling. What do you think about this one? If you were the girlfriend, would the old fling with your sibling be a deal breaker? Or could you move past it if your partner was honest? And if you were in OP's shoes, would you have told her it all or kept it to yourself? Let me know your thoughts in the comments, and if you enjoy these stories, don't forget to like and subscribe for more.